Well, 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 look who it is we meet again. Pisces, Scorpio and Taurus. I just finished the weekly readings. Taurus was the last. And I told Taurus that the most powerful readings of the week, the elite zodiac team, were indeed you three. And then I felt guilty because I started talking about you guys and your life stories and your alchemical missions to Taurus. And I thought, wait, I didn't even tell this to Scorpio. I didn't even tell this to Pisces. We're going to need to bring you together. This is a collective reading for the strongest zodiac signs of the week. This is a deep dive into alchemical school training, school of thought more specifically, and an in-depth, deepened awakening into the journey you are on right now. Not only are we delivering this live in transmission, I haven't really shuffled in depthly yet. I'm excited. I didn't want to come in here with knowing too much. We're going blind. It's going to be more fun. I'm excited. We're about to turn up and really go in on the alchemy, the mythology, the truth about you and your destiny and where you're going next, and what you need to know alchemically for the next steps of this journey. Do you know what else I'm also going to do? Considering Scorpio is in the elite zodiac team of the week, we're going to run a Celtic spread for Scorpio because Scorpio asks for one. So a separate reading will follow for Scorpio, a clean, sharp, simple, direct Celtic spread for you, Scorpio, as well. So stay tuned for that. Hit the bell. That's going to drop in a separate reading. But now, let's dive in to the most elite zodiac team that has ever shown up in a weekly reading for my collective to date. Okay, we're going to begin, but I just want to put a disclaimer in for any of you who are like, I don't like the term elite, I don't like the ideology of elitist, no, I'm more humble and stoic than that, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that nonsense, and I don't want to hear you in lower vibration of I'm not going to glorify myself, I'm not going to be elite, I'm not going to be a god, I'm not going to be a king, I'm not going to be the greatest in my field, I'm not going to be the richest, I'm not going to be the best in my industry. Save that for the public, save that for your presentation, save that for the mask you wear with the others. Don't do that to me. I haven't got time for cap. At the end of the day, every single person on this planet should be striving for their own unique excellence. Alchemy 101. So that isn't competition with anyone else, and the term elite doesn't make you somebody, how dare you think you're better than everybody else. No. It's you saying, I am purposeful, rich, wholesome, empowered, unique, destined, divine in my own unique right. And I don't need to budge or bend or bow or say anything less or more. That's me. Yeah, I'm elite. It's okay. It's okay. You just won the elite ward of the week. And you're already making excuses because that terminology doesn't quite sit right with your heart chakra because you got so much empathy and love and light for the rest. What have you learned over the last week and in the reading I've already put out for you guys? You need to really ground your internal. You need to really balance out that give and take, and you need to drive yourself home with higher levels of alchemy than you ever have before, to stay tuned in, tapped in to the higher dimensions, because any kind of thought in your mind of doubt and less than, and I have to make room for the other, silences you in the now moment, suppresses your ability. We haven't got time for you to leave flow state. We are busy now. You are activated, you are in flow state. I'm going to need you to stay there, please. Thank you. Why am I saying that? Because the dragon's out. That's actually Scorpio's energy, and Scorpio didn't even get the dragon card. So I know that Scorpio is definitely meant to be here. Not only that, I'm just deep in the cards now. These are the preliminary cards. We are using the Kim Kranz Tarot deck combined with the Kim Kranz Animal Spirit deck. Let me tell you what's out here. Dragon, oyster, black egg. Let me say that again. Whoa. Yeah. I am definitely doing the right thing with this reading, tapping into this energy. I am clearly seeing, right? I am clearly an elite reader today, dusting my shoulders as I say that, yeah? We are one and the same. We are on a spectrum from elite to defeat. And I'm not trying to be defeated again. Don't know about you. So we're going to start using labels in our own presence as confirmation and affirmation of our self-worth, because when we are alone and we are sitting by ourselves, there are moments in time where we do need to put our crown on, and we do need to put our robes on, and we do need to look at ourselves in the mirror and remind ourselves of who we are in this lifetime. Yes, I'm rising in royal highness ego vibration as I speak to you now, as I ascend into the lightened realm of oneness. Yeah? The dragon, the oyster, the black egg. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. That's some hardcore energy. Not only that, and why I keep bouncing between that defeated energy and that elite energy, still feeling a little bit guilty I am for even using the terminology elite, because I don't want you to perceive me as someone who thinks I'm better than you. We haven't got time for that. I'm not trying to be defeated. Do you see, I like the way I'm flipping left and right, and the cards are screaming, do that, do that, do that. Pull the polarity out. Let's measure the polarity, because in the polarity, we find strength. We find middle ground, and we alchemize correctly from the far left and the far right of the internal self. Yeah, we're doing that today. Why? Because the otter's out and the swan's out. That's polarizing energy. It's gorgeous because the otter is really, really emotional. The otter's really, really scarred. The otter is wounded masculine, wounded feminine vibration. The swan is true love. The swan is mirrored vibration. The swan is the version of you that you desire to be. The swan is the elitist version of you that you desire not to show up as. Yeah? The passivity in you is the otter. I don't want the world to really, really see what I look like when I come together in union with my destined other. Because you see what happens when two swans come together and when they look face on. Do you see how beautiful that is? I think there's only ever been one time in my life where I've just been chilling at the lake, right, near my house. And I'm just chilling. And it's always during really significant times where I'm talking to the divine, I'm talking to Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, getting that true sustenance I need, going through dark night of the soul, deep rest, turmoil internally, trying to crack the code that is this game theory. Does a magical event occur? In that moment there are photos on my X account. There isn't, because I've been suspended and we're on the backup emergency account. But anywho, we're going to stay grounded here. We'll talk about what it means to be silenced in life and stripped from the algorithm for your own unique algorithmic flow state. Swans come together, they create that heart shape. Beautiful to see that in person. Beautiful to see that happen in person, in front of your eyes. I took the most beautiful photos I've ever taken. Should have probably put those photos into some kind of competition. It's the most stunning photos I've ever taken, and it was all accidental, just chilling. And I've seen loads of swans in loads of different environments, loads of them all crowded together, but this time there was just two. Peaceful day on the lake, and they just come right together right in front of me and just do that pose right in the stream of light. Right in the most beautiful angle I've ever seen. And I snapped it. One of the most beautiful photos I've ever taken. It was gorgeous. It was such a gorgeous day. And it was so what I needed. And it was so natural and authentic. It was stunning. That's you. So you do despise the ideology of the elite. The elitist. The capitalist. Yeah? The far right, the rich, the wealthy, the elitist. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that in context to who you are. Why this is fascinating is because the oyster is one of my favourite cards in this deck. Taurus, in Taurus's reading, we got the buffalo spirit. That is my favourite spiritual card in the deck. Represents a spiritualist and alchemical power the best. The oyster, to me, represents an unsung hero. A beautiful soul, a true pearl, yet to be revealed. That's what you represent to me today. I broadcast to you, and this is the broadcast card. It's the oyster that slowly opens up. Alarms always going off at this time. The cracking open of you is here now. It's happening now. You know, when there's always these conversations of this is going to happen now, this is happening now, and you don't really see it. I bet you see it. Let me know next week if you see it. If you see it, I'll be back anyway, because I'll just sense that I need to keep going. I'll gauge energetically when I need to return, but there's this feeling in me that we're going to come back and we're going to do Alchemy 102, 103, 104. We're going to keep going. Whether or not you guys are going to be the focal point each week is beyond me. But we are definitely going to keep going down this route of cracking open this true elite vibration. I'm going to keep saying elite because I've started now and I can't stop, and I feel like I'm guided to use that narrative. But in that same breath, once again, I want to pull back. And then God goes to me, how dare you pull back? Do you want to go to defeat? Because the moment you pull back from elite, you start moving towards defeat. Harsh. This new dimension that we've stepped into is really, really harsh. Because it's saying anytime you choose to dissociate yourself from being elite, you choose defeat in your chakras. You choose defeat in your mindset. You choose defeat in your aura. You choose to defeat your highest vibration. I'm so sorry, but I am here to reveal to you that you are elite. You now need to digest as part of Alchemy 101 that you are superior in terms of your ability or qualities in comparison to the rest of society. I'm sorry that I have to share that with you. And I'm even more sorry that I have to apologise because you're elite. Because somewhere along this path, on this journey, you've been told that being elite isn't okay. You've been misinformed and given a psyop, a narrative that your superior gifts and abilities that set you apart from the rest of society, community, ecosystem or group that you are most dominant in isn't a good look for you, is something that you should hide, is something to be ashamed of, embarrassed of, or suppress. You're the oyster spirit, the dragon spirit, the black egg spirit. That's your elitism on smash. That's the power of who you are, authentically, true, raw. And what's so gorgeous about that is you come forth with the otter spirit and the swan spirit, confirming you've got integrity too, morals and respect, and you care about humanity as well. what beautiful qualities you have as a human being. There's no need to hide. There's no need to suppress your gifts and abilities. There's no need to play it down. You have been designed in this lifetime not only to glitch the matrix, but set the stage for a brand new game. You are the driving force in your reality, in your community, in your society, in your surrounding environment. It's you. You are the superior one. I'm not apologizing again for telling you the truth. I don't want to hear you apologize. And I don't want to hear you play down your role in this lifetime. I'm tired. I need you to accept who you are. And I need you to be willing to do the right thing. By your standards, not mine. I don't know you. But you know what you need to do. You know exactly who you are. I'm talking to clean-hearted individuals that will never step out of line or do anything wrong. So I'm not worried about promoting and advocating for you to go forth and prosper now. Because I see the cards, I see your energy, and you're a good-hearted person. You're not out here breaking the law. You haven't got dark, deceptive desires. You're not driven by capitalism. You're not riddled with toxicity. Yeah? You're a light worker with pure intention in this lifetime. And you're scared to pull up and present on the front line and read your scripture and sing your truth and represent your superiority, however you say that, because it never looks good on the others. You've seen the others wear this superior coat. Don't look good. You see how they get treated for who they are. The rich, the wealthy, the elite, the ones that really come out in this energy, we see how they look. We see how the rest of humanity treats them. But let me tell you something. That's not you. You're not them. I believe, and this is a belief system that God has installed in me, when you really are honest and integrous, you can do what you want. You can say what you want. Because you can't get that honor and integrity off of you. So you can go forth and be superior, be elite, say it, do it, exude that vibration. Be the richest in the world. Be the most dominant. Be the most predominant. Whatever you do that you think is egoic and too much, too powerful, too superior, too excellent, if it stands toe to toe with integrity, you can't lose. You can't make a mistake. Not many people can do that either. Not many people are conscious enough to do that. Not enough people have the free will to do that. Not a lot of people are even willing to do that. We haven't been. You haven't been. I'm the hermit talking to you about the Oyster card and coming out when I'm fully aware of why I'm a hermit and why I go within. Why I use my platforms in the way in which I do also. Why I'm building the technology at which I am. Why I'm teaching Alchemy 101 in the way in which I am. I'm with you in this dimension, this realm we're ascending from now. And the dragons with this. This is so powerful to me because the dragon is representing with the all-seeing eye and the reptilian brain. You have the all-seeing eye and the reptilian brain inside an oyster where you are the pearl. The true pearl. And you've had 7 of Cups and the Judgment card wrapped around all of this. Because you've really been in your head about, how do I ascend through this? How do I push through this? You believe you're elite. You know you're elite. You know you're superior. You know you are gifted. You know you're better than the others that are around you. And I know it's hard to own that and acknowledge that. But your skill set, your intelligence, if you're number 1 in the world, then you're number 1 in the world. You're the best chess player there is. Or you're rising to be that. Yeah? Number 1 footballer, number 1 on Forbes, greatest engineer, greatest technician, smartest physicist. You've come up with all of these amazing things. The fastest, quickest way to prevent someone from being elite is to imply being elite is wrong. The psyop on us is so intensive that there are millions of us, millions of people all around here who are absolute geniuses, masters of their own craft, doing amazing things, creating amazing things, and they've put all of that down because no way could they really be who they think they are. No way could they really do that. No one else is doing that. That will just be me on my own if I do that. No, that's too good to be true. That's too imaginative. That's too amazing. That's so superior if I really did that. That would be way too much. More people choose the defeat side of the spectrum than the elite side of the spectrum. Because if you call yourself elite and you trip and fall on your face, you're going to look real fucking stupid. Ha 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 ha, you thought you were elite. Hilarious, isn't it? Fucking hilarious. Nothing but hyenas surrounding the lion and his pride. And that's interesting. I've never thought about the lion and the pride in context to someone's pride and ego, about what it means to truly have courage and strength, because that's what the Leo lion energy represents as well. If we hone in on the fire element of tarot and the strength card, which isn't here, but who knows, we've got time, you know. So they're the cards that I pulled: the oyster, the dragon, and the black egg. Now the black egg is sitting underneath the otter. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. Let me tell you why. The otter is shrouded in blotches and imprints of trauma and depression and dark night of the soul and emotions that are that are hard to work through, that you've struggled with. There's a lot of difficult energy around this otter. If you do have these Kim Cran decks, I would get them out and put them out with while I've got mine out. Yeah? So if you do, pause, get them out. We'll do this. Every time we do an alchemy spread, we'll use the Kim Cran's Tarot and Spirit Animal Oracle. I'll tell you what I've got out. I'll write it in the description. And you put them out too, so you can really look. So we can do a little bit of clairvoyance channeling together, and I can show you what I see and how these cards speak to me. Yeah? That's a beautiful way to really learn and hone your clairvoyance gifts and abilities as well, and really use your clair senses. Because when I look at this card, it makes me emotional. It makes me want to cry a little bit. And I'm demisexual. I'm not flirting with you. Calm down, guys. But I am demisexual, and this card is so emotionally sexy to me. It's emotional intelligence. It's really, really empathic. It's really, really pure. It's really, really integritous. There's so much stoicism in this card. It's such a beautiful spirit. It's hard not to fall in love with this kind of person and this kind of energy, yeah? People love you very, very much, I feel. I feel people love what you do for them. I think that you are someone people want to cuddle all the time. People just want to, you could say something and someone just immediately hugs you with gratitude, yeah? You could receive a lot of hugs as a gift. Thank you, an immediate hug, yeah? Like someone will run up to you, ask you a question, ask you for advice, and share something with you, and then immediately hug and then leave. Grateful. But you suffer quite a lot with I get human contact. I feel like I would recommend for you Neil's Yard roll-on remedies. When I was at the height of working in the field and engaging a lot with others and working with chi and energy quite a lot, and repeatedly alchemizing energy within community, let's say it like that, right? I suffered a lot, and you can't wait until you go home to the end of the day for that healing shower and that salt bath. You need something that keeps your energy up and going, and you can use the smudge spray, which is in my link tree in the Amazon wish list. There's a lavender one, and then there's a white sage one. Spraying that around your head or above you in your environment and space, at the office environment you're in, the conference room you're in, the office desk that you're in, really helps soothe your chakras, really helps wind you down. If you're going to have to go to the toilet, you can spray it in the bathroom environment you're in while you're going to the loo or washing your hands. Just have a cleansing moment. But before you leave the house or throughout moments in the day, you could use Neil's Yard remedies to roll it on the back of your ear, roll it on your palm, roll it anywhere you want to, maybe even the side of your temples. There's different ones. I'll use them for different reasons, and I'll kind of alchemically, magically affirm what its intent is when I use it. And just that authentic natural smell it gives off, it's just essence oils, yeah, really gorgeous fragrances. And it's just so nice to be able to have that. And I would normally wear that with perfume, or on its own, even with some kind of other natural sprays like rosemary or tea tree. And you smell like a walking garden. You smell like a plant. You smell like Mother Gaia or Mother Earth. And your whole aura and chi is so infused with this gorgeous authentic natural smell, and it's not forceful or overly perfumed, but it is this natural essence and fragrance of, you've just walked into this gorgeous sanctuary. It feels like you're creating this sanctuary within your aura, and that's what I need you to embrace and work on over the next week or so. Because if you're going to start stepping into this arena and becoming that elite, honestly, that means you're speaking up more, and you're speaking up with more intention, more purpose, more conviction. You're really becoming now, yeah? You're choosing this now, yeah? Then I need you to protect up and shield up, okay? I want to teach you old school techniques as well, like opening your chakras and closing your chakras. Really, really important. I used to struggle once again being in the community, being in busy, hustle and bustle environments. A lot of people, seminars, conferences, workshops, high octave days, a lot of people around. Before you leave the house, you have your chakras open, you see them, you visualize them in your mind, you look at them from the red to the crown, you assess their stability. You could do this in a 4-second window when you get really good at it, but to start it could take you 10 minutes, 20 minutes, depends. But we're talking to elite alchemists here, so fuck it. 10 seconds, lock in, line up your chakras, clean them up before you leave through the fucking front door, zip them up, seal in the light with the gold zipper all the way up to your forehead, up through the crown, lock in and leave for the day. And then if you do have a moment midday, you're working long hours, 7 to 7, for example, there's periods of the day where you get to be alone again. And the moment everyone's gone away and you've got silence, it's just you in the office or the boardroom, or a moment just for yourself, right? Quickly undo your and you feel a little bit destabilized. You're in that icky otter energy or the lower vibration. Everyone's mucky's energy all over you. You still smell that person who hugged you 4 hours ago, and that coffee that person was drinking still there, and this office still smells like that person's lunch that they brought from home that you really did not enjoy the smell of, you know. And your senses are going to be more and more heightened because you're evolving and tapping in. You don't want to dismiss it because you want to start learning to integrate it into your new alchemical process so you're stronger overall for the long term. Yeah, that's the alchemical win here. So it's about understanding, open up your chakras, seeing that light bloom out of you and into the environment, neutralizing and cleansing everything around you, and then taking the time to seal that back out and close yourself back in again. Yeah, that's the standard, very simple chakra technique, open and close. I'll share all of these things with you in the description, okay? Furthermore, to start you off, on her 7D Consciousness channel, I will make a no more than 4-minute video of how to cleanse your chakras in the way I've just described. So even if you are on the go and you're busy and you're on the train, you're on the subway, you're on public transport, you're in the middle of town, it's chaotic, it's busy, you can just put your headphones in and quickly do a chakra cleanse and just blow all of that toxicity out of your field and get back to your high vibration, okay? Because when this black egg comes out of the deck, it's toxic. And I'm not talking bad toxic. I've never said there's a good toxic in my life. But today with you guys, because we're alchemists and we know yin and yang and we know dark and light, this black egg is toxic as fuck and we love it. This is the best fucking egg we've ever made in our fucking lives. You know, some of the rarest eggs in the world that stink like vomit and are absolutely vile, and you only get them in like foreign countries in the middle of nowhere and it's worth this much money. It's one of those. And it is a stinky nuclear fucker. And boy, does it make a stinks to high heavens. But what's interesting about this? What's interesting about you and this journey, normally they'll sell this egg on the black market and they'll eat it raw as part of a fucking ramen spicy chip challenge, because today life's about what? Clout and fucking virality. So instead of you choosing to put this egg on the black market, sell it on for cheap, do a black egg challenge on YouTube for the virality, you've sat on this egg for decades, years. This egg is giving nuclear as fuck, and we are at the height of Industry 4 rolling straight into Industry 5. This egg, this black egg, is worth more than any egg on the fucking planet. That's why you've been quiet. That's why you're the oyster. That's why you are the dragon all-seeing eye with the reptilian brain and the swan loving heart, compassionate empathic spirit. What I have learned on this journey about myself, and I hope you see this in you, your ability to achieve, your ability to master, your superiority, your elitism evolved from you just being you. You didn't desire to be any of these things. You actually don't want to really be any of these things. That's why God blesses you. God blessed you because you didn't want this. He doesn't give people what they want. You ever seen or been the student in the class when the teacher asks the question and you put your hand up first because you know the answer and the teacher never picks you? The teacher knows you know the way. The answer's not for you. She chooses the quiet boy in the back who doesn't ever speak because she wants to hear him. She wants to see what he has to say. She wants to challenge him. She wants him to benefit from this experience. And that's what God's done for you. So whatever is in your life at this time, whatever the black egg is for you, God gave that to you because he wanted you to master that. He wanted you to learn. And you have. And he gave it to you because you would look after it. Because if he gave it to the one that put their hand up first, that would have been a viral moment that already ended many years ago. But no, you sat on it. And you mastered it. And you cared for it. And I could cry. Because the ideology of an egg just being an egg, right? Cracking it open and eating it. Throwing it into a glass, mixing it and drinking it. That's a vile ideology for a vegan as well, may I add. But with that, it's a vile ideology because that egg that others would mix up and drink and use for a challenge, you've now sat on so long that it's hatched. It's hatching. And guess what it's becoming? A species, a creature, something that we have never seen on Earth before. That's why we're all here. Every single person on this planet is encrypted at birth, pre-birth, with a source code to create something on this planet that's never been created before. Every single one of us, even the less experienced souls, they still have the source. And we come here and we fight every day we live and breathe. Fight with our internal self. Fight with our circadian rhythm. Fight with our dietary needs. Fight with our job. Fight with our money. Fight with our family and friends. Fight with our physical vessel. Fight with our mental health, our spiritual health, our emotional well-being. Fight with the environment. To get to the point where you're at now. We're at now. I keep getting a vision of this egg cracking and out coming a dinosaur or a dragon, you know. It's fascinating because the Scorpio is really present here again with that dragon ideology that was their reading. So if you haven't watched the Scorpio reading, dive into that. More confirmation in that. I would watch the Pisces reading, the Scorpio reading and the Taurus reading, all of them together with this. Really important. Pisces, if you're here and you're tapping in, I want you to know I've acknowledged you in your reading. It was incredibly important. I hope the others will dive in and understand that Pisces went on a really interesting, divergent journey where they were living a really different life as like Tris from the Divergent trilogy, the movie. Really, really humble life to then change her faction and dive into such more of a radical way of living and get dragged into fights with the institution, get dragged into war and have to fight for her own unique liberation. Okay, that's super sci-fi with it, but I'm talking to someone who has their own battle on their hands, and potentially with institution, with government, with law. And once again, this is the first time in my life I can speak about this stuff on this channel, and I'm talking to people in light. I'm not scared. So many years I've been trying to speak on this stuff with you. I feel like as you break the curse, I break the curse. We all break the curse today. We all start cracking open from that oyster egg. Because so many years I've tried to address these issues and talk about what I see coming for the future and all of us and what we're doing. I've always been fearful of, but what if someone bad's listening to this? What if someone bad picks this up? I don't want to share prophecy or do tarot or read for anyone that could potentially be dark. I have no confusion. Which means you know, I know, we know as a collective that we are light. Completely. Toeing the line between right and wrong. From our unique standpoints, we all have our unique morality, but we also are toeing the line when it comes to law. And we're not scared to pull up and discuss things that are going on politically as well. Whether it is governmental, institutional, environmental, whatever it is, we're speaking truth and we're allowed an opinion, and we're not violent or even remotely aggressive. We're grounded, we're honourable, we're integritous, we're true, we're backed by spirit and a stable, grounded belief system, valuing the left, valuing the right, and yet knowing where we're going. Not dismissing the left or the right and opposing views, not fighting or creating war or screaming let's protest and burn the place down, because the radicalism on the rise that is terror related, which is supposedly far left terror related or civil unrest or war, either way we don't need it. I'm sorry, we don't. I'm going to continue to advocate for none of it. Especially we've got more than enough protests out there. We don't need it. We don't need it. I'm not going to be I love activism so much, but I see what's coming and I see terror all over the place rising in little pockets. I'm horrified of it. Sleeper cells, horrified of it. I see what's coming, horrified of it. I see dystopia, horrified of it. So part of me, and I guess the me a couple years ago is like, woo, activism's so cool, let's get placards and do this and do that. I'm not even in that energy anymore. As much as I love people singing their truth, and I won't stop people protesting. Peaceful protests are allowed and a legal thing, and there for a reason. We all have human rights. But I want to promote a collective that are choosing to actively make change through infrastructure and systemization, legislation, law, programs, actively doing. Advocacy is one thing, and I spent a lot of time looking into advocacy. Now I'm very much here for the actualization. Let's make something that's going to fix that for life. Let's just fix that for life. We don't even need to tell people sometimes we're fixing things. We'll just fix it and get on with our day. How about that? How about that? Because I like peace, real peace. So protesting for peace is only going to piss off everybody else who doesn't want peace and make them come up to the front line and start fighting us. And now we've got loads of police on the front line and barricades everywhere, and everyone's getting fucking bombed, and there's fires everywhere and cars are on fire and the whole fucking town is burning down. I'd rather not. If the government's going to let that happen and keep doing that, go on then. But I'll stay at home and have a chamomile tea, thanks. I'll make a program. I'll build a system. I'll design the infrastructure. Yeah. I'll stay at home and I'll do the ecology. I'll do the social sciences. I'll apply science to that. I'll build an infrastructure for that. I'll design the framework. Yeah. I'll run the binary code on that. It's okay. I'll code that. I'll build tech for that. It's okay. I'll make that. I'll fix that. We'll vibe code that, because clearly AI is allowing us to do a lot more than we could in the past. I'm tired. Okay? And what I see this black egg as, so for me, as I share that story with you, I think of the black egg being hermitology for me. So if I can share that story with you and just go, I didn't know what I had when I had it. But I knew I couldn't put it down. Makes me really emotional to think about it as well. I know I couldn't put it down. I knew it was driving me. It changed my life. And I have carried it with me for over a decade now. And it still hasn't materialized into what it will over the next decade. But it is cracking, and it is what I'm destined to do in this lifetime. And it is a gift from God, and it was given to me as part of my purpose and why I came to this earth in this lifetime. Hermitology and all aspects of it stemmed from the really early stages of this, stemmed from my very first independent research project that I done when I worked in education, and I was studying to be a level 4. I was studying at level 4 whilst working. It was like an MVQ, so like a apprenticeship, right? And it was a higher professional diploma in early years. This is where it all stemmed from. I came up with my own research project around it, and it changed my life. What I was privy to, what I saw, what I was awakened to, that was my first ever R&D. I was about 25, maybe 24. It's an 18-month course. So about 2 years. I left when I was 27. I stayed for about a year and a half after that before I left. So anywhere from 24 upwards, I started learning about this kind of R&D stuff. After doing this experiment, I wasn't really given the opportunity to move forward with it and actualize it in the environment I was in. I had insecurities about what I had and what I had found, and that weighed on me as the otter spirit. But not only that, I felt there was resistance for me to actually move forward and share this, because being at a level 4 in that position with that intelligence and expertise, that elite intelligence rising, that was a conflict of interest to anyone who else that was above me. And the research was about well-being. It was my first ever awakening to ecological well-being and well-being on a grander scale. And it involved over 25 staff and who were looking after nearly or over 100 children a day. It was a really, really important body of work that changed my life, that I couldn't move on in the way in which I wanted to, because whatever reason, there was no evolution for me there, from my insecurities versus what I was fighting against, the resistance that was there to even receive what I had discovered, to even present what I had. In the attempts that I made to do that, I was so kind of shut down, because it was really, really important information that brought everyone above me into the light as well. It wasn't necessarily negative, but it wasn't the rosy, beautiful Rosie and Jim story that you normally tell your manager or boss. It was truth. It was powerful. It was me being in my true purposeful position. It was me becoming superior because of what I had done. And nobody likes a superior person who hasn't been given a superior seat at the table. Yeah? That is when the journey really begun for me. I would love to hear yours. I would love to know yours. If you are in the public eye, please use the example I've just given you from my story and share yours. Put it out there to the world. Do a podcast, do a YouTube video, write a book, write a story. Put something out there. Share it, because your story matters. I would like to know. That started for me. I couldn't survive in that environment by the time I finished that course and experiment. I couldn't present the findings. I had no way to deal with what I had discovered. So I just got left sitting there with it in the position that I was in. Couldn't move on it, but now was privy to all the deeper stuff that needed to happen. This was no one else's intellectual property other than mine, because I'm the one that took the initiative to even ask if I could do this anyway. But because it really shone a light on every single aspect of ecological well-being in the environment, it wasn't something that anyone wanted to hear from my perspective. The green light I needed to present it was definitely off. It was a red light. It was like, don't you dare go any further. Don't you dare tell me anything else about what's come up, especially if it involves me and my role. So, stonewalled, silenced, stopped in my tracks. But once the egg is there and it's in the nest, you become the protector of it, don't you? So ever since that day, I've only really dawned on this recently, but ever since that day, I've protected that egg. I had no idea how valuable R&D was. I had no idea how valuable any of what I was doing really was. I just knew internally it was important to me. And the phrase I've used for many, many years is, I can't put this down, I can't drop it. I went to government in 2021 to, I think, one of the tech or business and trade departments and just said to them, I can't drop this. And in moments of stress, I go to whoever's in charge, who's more elite than me. Just so you know, I'm here and I'm a researcher and I'm doing this. And I'm actually scared because I can't drop this. And I've been carrying this for years. It's important. Here's a brief. And it's moments like that, like, why am I even talking to you? I didn't even like government. I'm uncomfortable by the regime. Your systems are shit. Take this. And it's kind of evolved over time of me doing that over and over again. And it's all stemmed from me studying well-being and just being conscious enough of what humans need and what we all need to keep going, and listening to people and trying to be a support system. And you feel silly sometimes and you get told no by people in positions of power, or sometimes you don't get told no. You get told nothing. You get ignored. You get silenced. You get iced out. You get dirty looks. You get spoken about. You get laughed out the room. You get made to feel less than. You get bullied. You get targeted. You get dragged. You get forced into awkward situations. You get blamed. You get accused. You get made to cry over and over again. Well, you don't know what you're crying for, and you don't even know what you've done wrong, and you don't even know why you're being treated this way. You don't even know what you've done. And you're just a target, and you're just sitting there in floods of tears, and you're like, I wish I actually understood what I'd done here, because it's just still not dawning me. You get made to feel stupid because you don't understand why you're being attacked. I'm being attacked again, but I don't understand why I'm being attacked. You're superior. You're presenting as elite. How dare you? How dare you present as elite when no one's giving you an elite label here? God made me. God made me elite. God made all of us elite. I'm so sorry that you want me to live over there in defeat, but no, I'm elite. And in those days, I never even perceived myself to be elite. I would never do that or say that or exude that vibration intentionally. I always played it small intentionally, but unconsciously so. I was just being me. That's how I speak. That's how I communicate. That's how I walk. That's how I talk. That's how I present. That's how I dress. That's how I do my hair. That's how I do my makeup. That's how I show up. That's how I give. That's how I breathe. Like, if someone's got a problem with you because you breathe that way. If I stop breathing, I die, you know. If I stop breathing, I die. So I'm so sorry. I'm crying again because unfortunately, I can't stop breathing for you. That's where I draw the line. I'll do anything you tell me to do. I promise I'll listen. I'll obey your rules, please. But I have to breathe. Bare minimum. Please, can I still breathe here? If you're going to breathe, then fine. You're going to have to take all of these rotten tomatoes. You know? That's what it's been. That's why the alchemist and the true light choose to stay in the dark. And that's why there are so many black eggs rising. This world is going to change drastically. I talk a lot about old money, new money, old world, new world. We're going to see all of that over the next decade in major ways. And a lot of people who are designing and building stuff now have been sitting on black eggs for a long time. And the evolution of AI, AGI, and this whole technology rise is going to crack open doors for millions of people. Shift the game entirely. A lot of dark, evil, demonic, gross, dirty individuals are going to get a rise and an opportunity to do illegal stuff that they shouldn't be doing and ruin the lives of many. Yet loads of heroes are going to come up and be beacons of light and true disciples of what we need to fight against the dark side. And the real winners in this, like I said before, are not fighting in violent terms. They're sitting down, they're quiet, they're stable, they're not making much noise, but they're building, and they're cracking code, and they're designing, and they're creating, writing, developing. It's the era of developers. It's the epoch of developers. You know, we talk about time periods like Kali Yuga, right? And we're talking about the Kali Yuga coming to an end. Where in hermitology standpoints, this is the rise of the developer, the rise of the Deva. This is the Deva epoch. And I love that terminology because what the developer is now is very different to what the developer used to be. From me working in early years, studying higher professional diploma at early years, linked into ecological well-being at its earliest, and human flourishing, and positive psychology, and management at a really young age, at like 24, 25, right? Crazy to process what I was doing back then and how elite I was back then, yet how timid and shy and broken and insecure I was, how uneducated I was as well then. Blind leaded the blind, I would say. But my heart was in the right place. And God gave me something to follow, so I trusted in it. I wasn't even an overly worshipper or believer then, but I trusted in what was presented to me. I knew it was important. I cared. I had heart. Love is the highest vibration of all, right? I loved what I did, and I cared about everyone so much. So when people came to me and presented problems and concerns and wanted to talk about their issues, I gave my empathic ear. But I didn't stop there. I then tried to help these people. I then tried to make positive change. I tried to improve mood and well-being. And although I fell short, it never stopped me from pursuing that as a life path. And every single time I stepped forward, that block presented. The block I spoke about in the Taurus read and the Scorpio read, that block presented. And I didn't push it out the way. Every now and then I stared at it and cried and said, oh my God, there's another block in my way again. I stood on top of it and I used it as stepping stones, stairs, and I kept climbing again and again and again and again. Until the point where I stumbled into the blockchain arena, unintentionally so. And the most beautiful thing about my journey, please share yours. Please share yours. It matters. If my story matters to you, and this is healing to you, and you care about this, and this makes sense to you, then imagine how much your story would help me. Imagine how much your story being out there would inspire others. We need to stick together and we need to share our stories. It helps. Because the moment I stumbled into the Web3 blockchain arena with minimal experience of both of those things, and cryptography as well, and coding, all of that, the moment I stepped into that arena, every single light turned on in my life, in the room. Imagine I'm just walking along in some long drawn out warehouse and the lights are off. It's really dim. I can just about see that there's a pathway in front of me, and I've been walking in it for miles and miles, and I'm like, what is this underground world, this underground railroad? Where am I? What the hell is going on here? And I've just been walking for miles and miles and miles. And then suddenly, what is that? Web3. Blockchain. Let me pick it up and open this box. Press this button. Open that door. Lights are on. It's like, you know, when you go to one of those warehouses and you hit the lights and it goes chung, 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 chung. Like, because all the lights are slowly building up and they're further and further and further away from each other. That's what it was like for me. And in that moment, I can see everything. And oh my God, there's a gold mine here. I had no idea what I was sitting on. And every single box, every single door, every single package, I understand what's in it. I understand what's on it. I know what this is. So all the years that I've been sitting on this egg, I know, I understand what's inside of it. No one else will really get it. There's going to be a creature that comes out that's never been seen before. But I know what it is because I've been sitting on it. It's hatched from me. So it's part of my meditative state, my mindfulness, my meditation, my self-actualization, my dedication, my work, my pyramid of protocols. It's like sitting on the Maslow hierarchy of needs. And the egg is all the way at the bottom at the red section. But it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and rising up to encompass all of you. And now the pyramid's inside the egg, with you sitting on the top of it, and then it's cracking open and we have a whole new world. I would never believe that I could build what I've built, or from that initial idea and seed to try and help others, it would take me all the way here. And the journey has not been nice. It doesn't feel good. I'm not overjoyed about it. In memory, it hurts. The otter spirit is real, you know? But that is what installs us with integrity, I assume. That is what installs us with moral responsibility. That is what makes us honourable and integritous and installs that respect in us to make sure we continue to serve human. Right? That's my mission statement, so I say it all the time. But it's integrity, moral responsibility in service to human flourishing. To travel all the way here over the last 20 years. And honestly, if I'm being really, really real and raw about it, because let's say 20, can we say 20 years? We can't really say that, but in my head I'm thinking 2015. So we can say 20 years. Yeah, we can say 20 years. I'm 37. No, that doesn't, yeah, 30. It doesn't make sense. It can't be 20 years. It's more 10 years, isn't it? Okay, I'm getting lost in thought. But the point is, there's still this part of me, I'm sure there's still this part of you, where I feel like I should have received more along the way. More support, more help, more love, more. There should have been more for me. I don't think I should have had to come all the way here like this. I feel underprivileged, unsupported, unloved, unseen, unheard, abused, violated, majorly disrespected, majorly fucked with, destroyed internally, unalived, psychologically abused, manipulated, gaslit, stolen from many times, robbed in many, many ways. What I have to hold on to, and all I have to hold on to, is hermitology, is knowing what I've built and what's coming. And the bitterness inside of me feels like I should have more materialism by now, and it should be more grounded by now. And the concepts and the grounded nature of what I've built over the last decade shouldn't just be pieces and shards of protocols that are in development and being built right now, and massive parts of the future infrastructure of Earth and out beyond the Kármán line, humanity full stop. But it should be tangible pieces of ecosystem already around Earth, fully established and materialized. That's my gripe, or where I feel I've been let down, or I didn't do enough. Yet, I'm reminded many a times that I would have never that would have never been a black egg. That would have never been a blue ocean. That would have never been able to materialize, because the limitations of those material productions scattered across the earth plane in that way would have only been such a heavy density that the evolution and gravitational pull of what we're creating for the future would have never been able to take off. There would have always been a collapse, a wave, yeah? A market collapse, a black swan, a massive risk to enterprise. So I'm privileged, but experience, reputation, and what supposedly I should have on my back to confirm that I am who I say I am and I've done what I've done, and the ledger presenting like everyone else's ledger, it doesn't do that. So it's kind of like, have I really been robbed and that underprivileged? Or have I really created the greatest escape of all? You know, and once again, that's the defeat versus the elite mindset, isn't it? Because I know for a fact that the black egg is here and safe, and the likelihood of that is almost impossible. So for you on your journey, I know many of you are in much better situations than me materialistically. So whatever you deem to be standing materialism, whether that's financially, virally, impact, reputation in the world, business, some of you will disagree. Some of you will outrightly disagree because you've lost it all. So you could have been a massive global kind of entrepreneur, and you could have done things around the world in really major ways and had a massive following and a massive impact, and got caught up in legal and been wiped out because of that. You could have been wiped out and rug pulled by crypto. You could have really designed something really, really amazing, have that stripped from you. We're talking about real people in business here, real people that have created enterprises and communities of their own and been stripped of that, been wrapped up in legal, loads of money taken from you, people taking advantage of you, people just using you for your money specifically, really fucking up your branding and your corporation, really negative backlash in the media. So I feel like you guys would tell me, no, you're better off. You're better off staying out of the way entirely and just building and staying humble and quiet and free from this shit. Because you've all experienced it, and now you all feel tarnished publicly, and you've got massive numbers and clout and following and reputation and bankruptcy and legal issues all tethered to your name that you can't rub off the public ledger. So I get you. You guys are like, I wish I was clean and unrepresented and unseen to the degree at which you're at, you know. But it's interesting because in life we're always going to look at the other person and the polarizing reality that they live in and think, well, elements of that are really quite nice, and I should have had a bit of that, surely, you know. But we all walk a very different path, you know. And for you guys, on that note, your journey and your trials and tribulations being public in the way in which they are, they drive us forward. You're a role model to us. So don't give up on that, even if it's ended in the worst way, even if you've got this fraudulent reputation around you. Because once again, I'm free to say I know who I'm talking to now. The cards have presented, you have shown up as elite, your moral responsibility, your integrity is there, you're a good person, you know it. You know you're not corrupt. You know you're not doing anything illegal. You know you have heart and purpose. You know you're here for the people. You know you want to do right by the world. You know you want to be in mission, or you're serving in mission to the Most High. So it's okay. You're allowed to talk about the L's you made in the past and the mistakes you made in the past. I am fully aware and understand why I went down this solo route. I'm such a gypsy at heart. When I get too close to anything, and this is subconscious as well, that could take away from my black egg, because I know, I feel, well, I know what I'm sitting on. I can't take risks that's going to get cracked. And all of you know that too. Whether or not we knew we had an egg with us, we knew we had an egg with us. So imagine all of us have been living our lives subconsciously with an egg in our pocket. A raw egg in our pocket for a decade. And we're going about life, but the way we move is very different because we've got a raw egg in our pocket that we haven't told anyone about. And every now and then we get a little close to letting someone know, guess what's in my pocket? That's the inner child in us as well. It's only the kids in the playground that bring their toys from home that they know they're not allowed. And you see they're looking around at the teacher to have a little quiet conversation in the corner about the fact that they've got something from home that they shouldn't have. I bought in some Haribos. Meet me over here for the secret sweetie conference, you know. All my years in early years have allowed me to be very imaginative and very switched on, believe it or not. But that's it. Our inner child every now and then has seen someone else who we can potentially go, hey, guess what? I've got an egg in my pocket. Do you want to see? I can't tell you what's inside of it, but look at the shell. It looks good, doesn't it? One day this is going to crack. What's inside of it? Well, I've had it for a really long time. And it means that, like, the imaginary friend, the imaginative side of us, it starts to come out. And that's when you meet someone else who's so on your wavelength and so kind of vibrating at that higher frequency, and you connect, you know, and you meet soulmates and develop wisdom. And these people don't stay in your life forever, right? I also realised some of the most beautiful souls that I've ever worked with and ever known, that I had the most authentic and down-to-earth relationship with, I never saw them as substantial as they are today. And it's just, I have this really honourable, humble respect for, wow, that person was so beautiful inside and out. That person really made my life easy. That person really valued me. I really valued that person. We had an amazing relationship. Our relationship was great. I loved what we did together. I loved how we behaved. I loved how we communicated. I loved how we nurtured each other. I loved how we provided. Like, it's fascinating to look back. So there's beautiful memories to take with us. And whether you're on the side of being really, really outcast and walking alone with your vagabond gypsy fool card in tarot with the stick with a little fabric tied to it, walking along with your black egg, or you're outrightly fucking Snowden with the chip in the Rubik's Cube, fucking hell, it's not easy either way, yeah? It's not easy either way. So we're going to close and leave, but I want to bring the Celtic spread out. Not only just because Scorpio requested it and it's got me going. Scorpio, you're going to get your own read still, okay? I feel guided to do you a really quick clean, like you demanded, reading. And then that's going to be separate for you. That's going to come out. That's going to premiere. But then I'm going to dive into a collective just to sum this up and just to see what wants to come through. It's going to be really quick, okay, guys? But I'm really intrigued to close this with some strong tarot on the outro. Beautiful. 9 of Swords out first, okay? And it's blocked by Knight of Swords. This is really gorgeous. 4 of Wands, Ace of Pentacles. 4 of Wands at the back of the mind, Ace of Pentacles at the front of the mind, okay? So listen to this. Straight off the bat, you've been in a lot of worry, a lot of stress because you're very, very intellectual. You're very, very switched on. You are that alchemist. You are in your power. The thing with you is you haven't been able to ever be in that Knight of Swords energy charging forward because you're carrying a black egg. Nonetheless, you've been in 4 of Wands. You've committed to the journey. Your back of mind is commitment. 4 of Wands is such a beautiful card to have out because we've got those 4 strong pillars of passion surrounding you in that egg. You're protected. The front of your mind, Ace of Pentacles, that's the material harvest of this egg. Not only that, in the past, the sun, because of this and this egg alone, has brought fulfillment into your life. If I didn't go on this journey, I could cry thinking about this. Quite frequently, when I'm out, there's quite a lot of like schools and nurseries in the area, and it just flashbacks. Like there's one private nursery over there, and outside all the buggies are lined up, and it's a buggy mayhem, and I've got major OCD, and I look at it like, oh my god, I remember lining buggies up in the perfect order and making sure they're organised, and the buggy dramas at the end of the day and in the morning. And then I walk past another school going for a power walk or heading to the forest, and all the children are out in the garden, and the teacher's going, it's tidy up time, can we start tidying up please? And my brain fucking fries, and it's just flashback and dawns on me of how that was my absolute life. Circle time, tidy up time, lunch time, garden time, and it's just like that would have still been my life. I love it. I love hearing it. It's so lovely. I live quite close to a school. There's schools and everywhere around me, and childcare everywhere around me. I can't escape it, unfortunately. But quite close to around me, at the office space, in the local area, there's all of that going on, and it's like school playgrounds and the bell ringing and the teacher speaking and just the sound of kids in the playground. It's such an old life for me, and it makes me laugh and have a flashback because that was my life for a long time, and I didn't want that to be everything I had and that to just be my life full stop. I felt there was more for me. And starting that research experiment when I did, although incredibly unexperienced and unaware of what it was going to trigger inside of me, created this. And that's the Sun card. That's the gift. So without me being angry and beating myself up for what I feel like I've lost to get here, what I feel like I've sacrificed, and the loneliness that I feel like it has ensued more and more because of this path in life, because there were windows of time where I was in community, I was doing a lot more, there was a bigger network around me, I did have other social media platforms that did have a decent following, and I did have a network around me that was stable enough to really give me the fuel I needed and the community ethos I needed to keep going, and the ability for me to create or foster a shared understanding, which is really, really important to me. Fostering that shared understanding, promoting that ethos that we all kind of nourish together. I miss those kind of elements, but sometimes you have to hang up your apron and leave the kitchen and stop cooking and just take a little time, and that's what it's been for me, you know. And with you, that's been the same, because 8 of Pentacles is out. Sun's in the past, 8 of Pentacles in the future. So it's saying you're still going to be cooking, putting your apron on, going back in the kitchen, cooking again, leaving. That's the gift for you. Enjoying making something amazing. So we're using the ideology of food and a recipe to slowly sum up this reading, which is beautiful with the egg ideology that we are not cracking but into a omelette. But it's a situation of, you're going to be working really, really hard with the 8 of Pentacles still, because this is your legacy, this is your life, but you're determined to do it. It's brought you so much satisfaction in the past. You wouldn't have created what you have without it being fulfilling for you. I'm so fulfilled. I'm so fulfilled in life. I am. I love hermitology, I love what I've built, and I love what I've created, and I've got so many more years on this planet to nourish it and to really materialize so much more of it. And I've had so much time to kind of be alone and do the groundwork and really, really build the infrastructure, the framework, the real struggly, gritty, nitty, legality, legal, serious, hard work, graft, legally, governmentally, globally, for this to even be a possibility. So it gets easier from now, but the work we've set for ourselves and the work pace and the kind of our general output is high, because that's who we are. So we should be proud of that or value that. And with more and more AI, guys, and AGI, we will eventually work a lot less. We will eventually stop working full stop and not have to, because our jobs could all be managed through machine. All right, most of our responsibilities and work can be done easily and sent over all of these new devices, gadgets, and the software will be available to do all this stuff with so much ease. So the hard work I'm doing now is still going to be a lot more reduced compared to what I would have done if I was slogging away in the old world, with my old life and career. So it's still a win, but it's hard to acknowledge that sometimes and see that. So guys, if you've had to really work intensively over the last few years, over the last decade, over the last 5-6 years, more than you ever normally would, and you feel like it's not going to slow down, I would say 6 years from now, many people could be looking at retirement full stop, with the ability for your avatar and your engine to run the show better than you do right now. Because all you've really got to do moving forward from now until then is make sure that everything is easily integrated into the infrastructure. Yeah? Make sure your source code can be, you've got the source code, you've got the originals, and as long as you've got that, that can be fed into the system. Yeah? Universally applicable coding mechanisms are on the way that will just eat whatever you put in. But you've got to be able to make the strongest sense of it. You really got to understand literature. You really got to understand word. You really got to educate. Like, some people's systems and some of these developers' outputs are going to be shitty because they haven't done the work. So you can see all the stuff going on now, how you use ChatGPT, for example. Whatever you put in, you get out. If you're going to ask the right questions and be really good at making demands of machine, then your reward's going to be greater, isn't it? It's about how you ask the question. It's about how you input. It's about how you make demand, yeah? It's about how you understand need and demand. And really understand utility as well. So that's the kind of gift that is coming for all of us through machine as well. So don't hold on too tightly to who you've been, where you're at, the hours that you're working now, what you feel like you're destined to do. Choose to have strength and let go of pride. The most beautiful thing in a person, in my opinion, is when someone can own up to the conflict, the sadness, the isolation, the lies, the deceit, the legal situations, the things that have gone wrong, the mistakes they've made. Own it. Stand on it. I fucked up and I did something bad. Use that as your life lesson. If you've been dragged into something really, really bad and it's wounded your reputation, you didn't mean for that to happen, or you've done wrong, but you know who you are, you know where you're going, you know you're a good person, then that's part of your story. And we start telling that story. And we start building a life, a legacy that you already have, may I add. But you let that be part of your story. Always go back to Eminem. Yeah, I do live in a trailer with my mom. Yeah. Okay. Say something else, because I already told you that I'm taking my white ass back to 8 Mile and I live in a trailer with my mother. What else have you got? Do you get it? Take away the weapon that they will use against you. Furthermore, give them the weapon. Oh, you want to fight? There you go. There's the ammo. I'll give you the ammunition. You want it that badly. Take it. They'll never use it. It's like a troll that you meet in real life. The same person trolling you online in the worst ways for years now says nothing to you in the now moment. They're smiling, they love you, they want your autograph. Because that's how it works. Do not be fearful to stand up and be in your power and shine bright and be exactly who you are, okay? I hope this found you well. This was our first ever Alchemy 101. This wasn't where I thought I was going to go with this. But nonetheless, we went. Feel free to share more in the comments. Feel free to check out hermitology.me. And we'll be back soon with more. Love and light.